So a chicken tikka masala, lots of people have their view of where it came from. So,
okay.
yeah, turn that now. It's a bit hot. It's quite nice though.
I know it is.
Freezing outside.
We have snow on the mountain tops. All these southern softies have come up with like their coats, scarves,
so cold.
you name it, and I've got my sleeves rolled up. If I'm honest, I put my shorts on.
So that's really hot there as well.
Yeah, that one's turning. It's this one.
So chicken tikka masala.
Yeah.
The chicken, well, it's thought that it came from the Muddi Mahal, which is a restaurant in India,
Right.
where they wanted to use up the leftover tandoori chicken and put it in a really nice creamy sauce to keep it really nice and moist. So the first thing we're going to do is going to marinate our chicken and get that in the oven to get that sort of nice smoky tandoori-ish flavour. So I've got some thigh meat here.
Okay.
Whenever I cook Indian food, it's always about the thigh meat because it holds the flavour better. There's a little bit more fat in there, and it just works really, really nicely with a lot of the sauces and the masala that we do.
I'm a big
thigh meat fan. Okay.
It's just got more flavour and it doesn't dry out like chicken breast.
Absolutely.
It's just, for this kind of a cook, it's the best thing I think.
I totally agree with you. So a lot of Indian marinades, we tend to use yoghurt, and what we tend to do is use something called hung yoghurt. So hung yoghurt is yoghurt that's been hung in a muslin.
So you strain it a little bit.
Strain it.
Right.
So a really quick and easy way to do that. I've got a spoon in there. A really quick, easy way to do that is just get some kitchen roll, just a couple of sheets, and just plop your yoghurt onto that, and just spread it out a bit. And very, very quickly you'll see all the moisture being drawn out of it. And
that's really clever, isn't it?
What it does is it just pulls all of that extra
instantly.
Whenever you're making a marinade, it's all about infusing flavour into your meat. If your meat is wet, or if you introduce water into that, you're not going to get that penetration of flavour. So it's really important that you sort of try and have really nice sort of thick yoghurt.
Because I tried making some labneh the other week, and I tried straining it, and I really didn't get much moisture out of it at all. And I thought, right, I'm going to try that.
You can see it's already drawing it out.
Really
okay, so we're going to pop the chicken into.
Okay, I'll take that away.
Yeah, thank you very much.
You tell me what you want me to do. I'll take away.
We're going to use lime for this rather than lemon because we want it to be slightly fresh and not as harsh as a lemon can be. So just one in there. And I'm all with you on the whole pestle and mortar front.
Yeah,
Man
good.
Of my own heart. Where's it gone?
Yeah, pestle and mortar.
Pestle and mortar, please.
Sorry. It's on its way.
Okay, give this a bit of a. You know what? Thank you. Okay, we're going to get a little bit of salt in there just for some seasoning. And then some ginger and garlic.
Okay.
So we're just going to give that a bash. Again, you can just do this in the pestle and mortar once it arrives. It's nearly here. Just a couple of cloves of garlic. Just going to give them a bash.
Here you go.
Lovely.
Do you want me to do anything, or are you okay?
Do you want to bash up some coriander seeds for me?
Yeah.
So coriander seeds.
All of those?
No. It's wet in there. That little white. Probably just about a teaspoon of coriander seeds. And what the coriander seeds will do, they add almost like a lemony zing, a real sort of freshness to the chicken. So give them a bash.
Okay.
I always like to use whole spices and crush them myself because I just think it makes a huge difference.
It does.
As soon as you bash them, you can smell.
You get the aroma instantly.
Straight away.
Yeah.
So, some garlic.
And do you want this straight over the chicken?
Yeah, straight into the chicken. With your ginger and garlic, try and get it nice and fine. Oops, just whipped it.
Okay.
One, and some ginger as well. Can you just?
Yeah. Do you want me to peel this?
No, I never really.
Do you want it pounding?
Yeah, we're just going to pound that in there as well.
All of it? All of it?
No, just probably about 2 centimetres, 3 centimetres worth. So again, you want to get your ginger and garlic nice and fine. I mean, I could have just put this all into the pestle and mortar and just bash it all together. So pop that in there. gentle heat that it gives you. So you like a little bit of that, and then some fenugreek. So fenugreek is the iconic spice of a chicken tikka masala. So
that's what we couldn't find at the supermarket today. We
So
tried. It's the
herb rather than the spice.
Okay.
So if you have a little smell. So that is the musky aromatic.
It's nice, it's quite familiar, isn't it?
Well, when you cook a curry and you come down in the morning and you can still smell it, it's because of this stuff. So, so put that in. Yeah, that's great. Lovely. And then with this, literally, I'm just going to watch this. It just plops in like that.
That was really clever.
So, just that last bit. There we
Okay,
go.
you turn up.
Yeah, and then it's all about getting your hands in there and just getting that to marinate. So the whole point, as I said, is to infuse lots and lots of flavour into the meat. I'm just gonna. I always do it in one pot, and then you can just stick the whole thing in the oven. Now, ideally, you want to leave it to marinate for about half an hour. Or you can do it in the morning and then cook it in the evening, or leave it overnight. The longer you marinate it for, the longer you'll give it to absorb all of those lovely flavours. But for today, we're going to put it straight in, I think, into the oven. So that's what you're looking for.
Beautiful. Do you want me to pop that into the oven while you wash your hands?
Yeah, that would be fab. Thank you.
Smells amazing. What temperature would you like it in at?
180, please.
180. Everything cooks at 180 degrees. That's the one thing my dad taught me in the kitchen. The one and only thing. Cook a packet of everything at 180 degrees. That was it. And he wasn't far wrong, to be fair. Bless him.
Yeah, always at 180. Okay, so once you've got your chicken marinating and cooking, we're going to start on the masala, which is the sauce. So we need to get our onions. Now, whenever you cook an Indian dish, you need to think about what the end result is going to be. Now, a chicken tikka masala is generally a nice, fine, creamy sauce. So you need to make sure that your onions are really nice and finely chopped or minced. So it depends whatever you're comfortable doing. If you want to chop them, try and get them really fine. If you want to mince them, or you can even grate them, that's okay too. So I'm just going to chop one up really nice and fine. And then we're going to get our whole masala cooking away. There we go. Now into this I'm going to put some ginger and garlic as well, just to get those lovely typical Indian curry flavours going. But before that we'll add some whole spices.
Feel like a spare part. Is there anything I can do?
Now we're going to get
I'm not
some
very
oil
good
on.
at sitting there letting other people cook. It's kind of like...
Feeling a bit lost.
It's a bit, but I'll get used to it because I quite like it, but it is unfamiliar territory, if I'm honest.
I'm going to put some oil in here. I generally like to use rapeseed oil for food. I just think it just works really well. So look at the colour of that. Beautiful.
It is.
Beautiful. Okay, so my onions are ready. With Indian food, it's all about the layering of flavours. It's not about chucking loads of chilli in there and getting it really hot. It's about getting the base layers of flavour and the next layer of flavour in there. So whenever you're using whole spices, my general rule of thumb is you add your spices to the oil to fragrance the oil. Because spices are natural ingredients, all you're doing is you're getting them to release their natural oils into the oil, into the base of that sauce. So you've got a lovely base flavour.
Where do you buy your spices from? Because if I'm honest, if you have a look at this, like this is not the kind of spices you would find in the supermarket. They don't look the same. You know, it looks like you've been in the woods and picked things out.
Yeah. As I say, they're all natural ingredients.
What's this one?
So that's black cardamom. Have a smell.
Okay.
Smoky.
Yeah, it's quite different, isn't it?
Really smoky. So you use that in rice dishes, you use it in meat dishes that you want to get a real sort of depth of flavour to, and they sit sort of in the background. So this is a Kashmiri chilli.
Right.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
And that's the powder from it.
Okay.
Those are from your garden outside.
Oh, they look lovely. That's why I picked them up. Yeah, they're lovely. No, I just think Do you know what? Spices is something that I kind of haven't in my career. I haven't spent enough time sort of
investigating.
Yeah, I've immersed myself in a lot of European food, and I know European food really well.
Have a little taste of this. Now just chew it. Just tell me what you get on the end of your tongue.
Oh wow.
Sweets.
Yeah.
Like almost like sugar, just a real sweetness.
What's that?
So this is cassia bark.
Okay. Yeah.
Also, some people call it true cinnamon. But those dishes that you can have, you know, your pasandas, your kormas, those gentle dishes that have got a really nice sweetness that sits in the background. That's where the sweetness should come from, and not from the sugar that's chucked in there. But it's quite a unique taste.
Kind of made my tongue go a bit numb. It's starting to come back now a little bit.
It's like dentine. It's like that chewing gum almost. But
it is. Yeah.
But it's got a similar aromatic to cinnamon.
Yeah, but it's not
the same
is it?
Because cinnamon's hot, whereas this has got that lovely sweetness.
It is sweet. It is. It's lovely.
So for this dish, then we're going to be using whole garam masala in the base, which is right. Let me get all my little bits ready. So I've got some cardamom here. Whenever you use cardamom, just give them a little split and put them in. It's that love it or hate it spice. And if
Just turn it up a little bit.
just
Are you alright? Oh, it's starting to sizzle.
Yeah, it's fine. I've got.
And you're alright with the frying pan, or do you want that one?
I don't need that.
Shall I turn that one off?
Yeah, turn that one off. So we've got green cardamom. We've got sister spice, which is cloves. I'm going to put some cassia bark in there. I'm going to add some whole cumin seeds. So cumin seeds bring out the natural sweetness of your dish, but they've got a really nice musky aromatic as well. So I'm going to put a teaspoon of those in.
Oh wow.
Okay, so that,
really starting to crackle now, aren't they?
as that starts to sizzle, as soon as you can smell them, I'm going to put a couple of bay leaves in there. So the general rule of thumb is, as soon as you can smell them, get that aromatic through.
Turn that down.
No, it's fine.
You're alright.
Going with your next ingredient. Okay. Indian food is all about the onions, especially when you're making a masala. It's all about how you cook the onions. So if you are cooking a really deep, rich, meaty dish, you need to cook your onions for at least 25 minutes.
Spoon. Yeah, we have a few.
This will be bright yellow by the time
I wonder how many of these spoons I will actually get through. But I thought, right, we'll get ready.
If you, as I was saying, so if you're cooking a really deep, rich, meaty lamb curry, for example, I would normally cook my onions for at least half an hour, just the onions on their own, with nothing else in there. So when you think you're done,
you don't salt them or anything to get the water out?
So initially I have them on a very high heat, dry that liquid out, and then I will slowly start to add a little bit of salt to it to help, because it does help that cooking process. But it is all about cooking your onions down until you get that really lovely caramelised dark flavour.
It's kind of the foundation, isn't it?
It is, and if you rush that, you're not then going to get that flavour.
You get out what you put in,
absolutely.
Don't you? So what got you into cooking?
My mum.
Right. Yeah.
So I learnt to cook.
I wish I could say that. Mum, you didn't get me into cooking.
I learnt to cook by following my mum around the kitchen. She made me do all the bits that she didn't want to do, like going in the garden and picking mint when it was raining. Making.
Why not? That's what kids are for.
Bit of slave labour. You know, doing all the things like making the dough for the rotis every night. So you know, we'd have fresh roti every day with dinner. Mum would stand there cooking.
I remember teaching myself how to make roti guides. It's good.
So that's and you know, it's just something that we always did in our family. We all everyone cooked. Because we all ate the same food. We all grew up eating and cooking together. So.
And do you have children?
I do have children.
And are you teaching them?
I certainly am.
Right,
my daughter is very good.
Right.
She can probably do most of my dishes.
How old?
So she's 12.
Right.
She can probably cook most of the dishes that I've got on my website.
And what is your website? Let's let them know. I'm sure it'll be on here somewhere.
So it's harrygotra.co.uk.
Right.
And the website is now actually the biggest Indian food website in the UK.
Wow,
so
well done.
Yeah, which is amazing. So we're getting lots and lots of people coming to the site. There's hundreds of recipes on there. Every recipe has a video with it. And it's all about making Indian food accessible to people and getting people to start cooking it, because you know
So we talked a little bit about cameras that we use here at the studio. So hopefully we're going to get some video content for you onto the app as soon as you start filming. And is it going to be filming straight from home?
So
the home kitchen.
I've already got loads of videos up and
so we'll get some more of those on.
Yeah. There's so I do a lot of my filming in the kitchen at home, but most of the recipes now have videos.
A video to go with them.
So with the curry kits as well. So we've got every curry kit has got a little.
Brilliant. QR code. So maybe what we ought to do then is get the front page on the app, and let's get you on as a guest editor.
Yeah.
And what we'd love is for the front page to be full of top 10 recipes videos.
Excellent.
And we'll get those on and ready for the Friday night.
Friday night curry night.
And well, maybe we ought to get them on Thursday, ready for shopping, and Friday for cooking Friday night.
Sounds good to me. There's nothing like a Friday night curry, is there?
No, definitely. And then a curry sandwich on Saturday is always good. I like a curry sandwich.
Cold curry for breakfast?
No.
Oh, yeah.
Cold pizza? Can't do cold curry.
There's nothing like... I'm good, thank you. Right. Yeah, I'm alright.
I'm kind of getting caffeined up. Usually this time of day I'd be like, no, I'm not having a coffee. No, I want to sleep. But I'm not sure that's relevant.
That's the whole point, isn't it? It's the whole point.
Although you'll be doing a long stint on the M6, aren't you?
Yeah, you know. The effort that I've gone to be here for you today.
No, I'm impressed.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, how much? How much?
No, a little bit less than that. Yep, that'll do. And then...
Finally chopping.
Yes, please.
Okay.
We want this masala to be really nice and...
So we've got a guy coming in tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock who specialises in knife sharpening, and he travels all over sharpening knives in some amazing kitchens like Michelin stars. He sharpens the knives for the best restaurant in Britain at 6 o'clock who specialises in knife sharpening, and he travels all over sharpening knives in some amazing kitchens.
You can see that they're starting to just go that lovely golden brown colour, so I'm going to add the ginger and garlic into there as well.
So what would you, we've got our drinks man hovering ready. What would you, do you have any suggestions on what you'd drink?
Yeah, absolutely.
With curry?
For me...
That must be a very common question.
We get all the time.
Yeah.
So, for me, I love bubbles with my curry. So
any kind of bubbles?
Champagne or Prosecco, I think work amazing.
Champagne or Prosecco? I'm not sure you've turned up with that. How about beer?
Beer's always good. We've got some great Indian wines around at the moment as well.
Really?
Wine coming from India, which is a fascinating subject, I think. But just sort of north of Mumbai and stuff.
Right. Oh, fascinating.
Wine, yeah.
No, you'll have to get those in.
And some up in the foothills of the Himalayas as well.
Yeah. Well, presumably the climate's there, so, you know.
Just get this. No, that's fine. I'm just going to bash up my coriander and cumin seeds that are going to go in next, with a little bit of chilli powder as well.
Do you want the that bit as well?
No, I don't have that bit.
Here it is. I never know which one is which. Which is the pestle, which is the mortar?
That's the pestle, isn't it?
Is it?
Mortar.
Okay. I'll take your word for it. I have no idea.
And when you grind your spices, make sure you use the whole of the inside rather than just bashing. Grind them rather than giving them a bash. There we go. As soon as you can smell all that lovely aromatic. So the coriander's gone in there. I'm just putting the cumin in now.
See, now we're talking. I feel like I know
like
this.
A Friday night now.
Well, I feel like I know the subject matter a little better. What's this beer then?
So this is made by a brewery over in Norwich.
Okay.
Up in Norfolk called Redwell. This is called a steam lager. Now it's as far away from what most people would have tasted in terms of lager, the kind of mass-produced industrial products. It's as far away as you could possibly get.
It's nice, isn't it?
It's got flavour in it.
It tastes really fresh and...
Yeah. I like that.
So this steam lager or steam beer style is a style that came out of California. Actually in the last century, or the century before last, the 19th century. And there are various theories about why is it called steam lager. I'm not a brewing techie, so I'm well out of my depth if I try to go into them. But the sort of net effect is that it's usually slightly darker than.
Mine's gone.
That's a good sign. Shall we just double check
Mine's
it?
gone, yeah.
Should we just quality control?
I think mine evaporated really quickly.
It's a bit of heat. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
I
It's
think
all
so.
those spices. But it gives a sort of a slightly richer flavour than you normally get. You know, you think of lager, love it or hate it.
Yeah.
It's always very refreshing. You know, you drink
Yeah.
it really cold,
And
often in the
that's
summer.
why I think Prosecco works.
Absolutely. I mean, we were talking about this actually on the way up in the car. One of the reasons why things like beer or fizz goes well with spicier food is that effervescence is able to kind of cope with the really strong, punchy flavours that are coming out of the spices.
Yeah.
And it helps your mouth to sort of, it almost kind of bubble cleans your mouth a bit. It's a new technical phrase.
It's kind of really light, but it's still got flavour. You know when you have like a...
Sorry.
No, please. These things have to be done.
And look at this cool can as well. It's really,
It is
really
very cool.
funky. And I was seeing a lot of these craft brewers going back to cans.
It does look cool.
And why is that? Marketing?
I think it's been led by the USA.
Right.
That the craft brewers over there have sort of started going back into cans. I think partly the technology, the technology for can making has got better, so that there's less of that like metallic taste that can be left over in the liquid. It's lighter. It's therefore a little bit cheaper to transport. It's a little bit more kind of ecologically responsible. It's easy. You don't even need a bottle opener. You can get stuck in.
That's lovely.
It's all right, isn't it?
It's really refreshing. Yeah, it's nice.
It's like fresh, but it's got a bit of flavour. So
I
red
can't
well.
have too much. I'm driving back.
It's only 4.6%. So it's not too hefty.
That's tasty.
It's
Okay, so what I've
smells
done,
lovely.
so I've just blitzed some tomato just to make a really nice sort of blended masala in there. So I've added that in, and I've put in there some coriander and cumin seeds that have been bashed.
Oops.
I've also added some chilli for a little bit of heat as well. So I want all of that to cook down. Whenever you use tomatoes, they've got like an intrinsic acidity to them, so you do need to cook them down so that you get the flavour, but you don't get that sort of acid, slight acrid flavour. So you do need to cook them down, especially
If you
in the
didn't have
masala.
fresh, would you use tinned or not?
You can use tinned,
Yeah.
absolutely, and the tinned will give you a brighter colour. It depends how fresh your tomatoes are.
Right.
The other thing that's key in a tikka masala is cashew nuts. So I've got some cashew nuts here, and I've toasted these and just blitzed them with a blender. So I'm just going to pop that in as
So
well.
is it almost like cashew nut flour almost?
Yeah,
Just like
really
you would get.
fine.
And would you use ground almonds or something like that if you couldn't get it? Or
You can do. I mean, the key flavour is cashew, but it also helps with thickening the sauce and giving that lovely sort of thick, slightly sweet flavour to this dish. So I'm just going to put that in, and all of this is going to come together, and then the chicken's going to come out, and we're going to pop that into here as well.
Awesome.
It does. It smells really good, and it's like it's not all creamy and like it's all.
Well-
it will be creamy, I'm sure, but it's kind of. I don't
But
know.
but
I
it's
can
not
see how
about
you're
bucket
building
well,
those
it's not
layers
about
of.
those layers of flavour.
Yeah.
It's not about just. I will put a little bit of cream
Yeah.
in at the end because it's Friday night, but it's
Yeah.
not about. It's one of my pet peeves is this whole thing about how unhealthy Indian food is, and it's not. If
No.
you cook it from scratch and you put great ingredients in, and you build those flavours from the bottom up.
It's like right, people think that people say that Indian food is unhealthy. I would have thought the opposite.
Oh no, it's well.
Well, it's the
suppose
ghee, isn't it? People think,
Well-
it's like swimming in ghee, and that's what they say a lot.
But
But I think that's not really.
ghee isn't actually that bad for you
Is it
anymore.
not?
No,
Right.
apparently.
It's like
one of the
butter's
good
good for you
parts.
as well. Yeah,
exactly.
French
Healthy
paradox.
as well.
Is there an Indian paradox, like the French paradox, where they have all those dairy products, and yet they have really low rate of heart disease?
Well, exactly. Okay, so the chicken has been in the oven. I want it to char a little bit, so you've got that charred sort of flavour in there. I'm just going to. Could you just grab a little bit of water? I'm just going to add a little bit of water to this.
Is that thighs and
Yeah, always thigh meat, especially when you're adding it to a sauce. If you did this with breast, it would dry it out as soon as you put it into there. So I'm just going to pop a little bit
I'm a
of
bit
water
of
in there just to
thigh
help
man?
it. Yeah, me too.
Chicken.
Thigh woman.
We've done cheeks, we've done
Cheeks and
thighs.
thighs, we're working our way up.
Okay.
Yeah. Do you want to try another beer then?
I absolutely do, yes.
What sort of beer? What's your favourite style? Are you a lager man? Are you a cask ale man? Or are you a craft beer hipster?
I'm all of them. I think.
Right.
I like to try lots of different. I'm not like anyone. I don't like one particular beer. I like to try lots of different ones. Yeah.
Polish that off. I mean, that's the great thing. Just like the world of wine, we have so much. We are living in a time with so many different great beers, whether they're traditional styles, you know, the old cask ale, the Camera.
Well, in Cumbria, we're known for having more microbreweries in this county than any other county in Britain.
Really?
So we've got all kinds of different ones.
Do you want to have a little taste of the Masala?
Yeah, definitely. Thank you.
So it's got quite
That's
a bit
lovely.
of heat in there, but it's also got those lovely gentle flavours.
And it's nice with the bit of the bite.
It's really
as well,
rounded.
crunch.
It's got depth that straight away. It's not just one kind of flavour. You know, there's kind of lots of layers in there. Yeah.
It's all about building those
It's
flavours.
really good.
So into that I'm
Really,
going to
really
add
good.
that chicken whilst you guys...
What's the beer?
So, also from Redwell in Norwich, they're doing well out of this tonight.
They are, aren't
This is called a West Coast Pale Ale. So a lot of the most popular styles of beer, a craft beer, so called, that are coming out these days, they're made with hops that grow in the USA.
they? Yeah.
So there's a whole load of different hop varieties that grow all over the world,
Okay.
and then some that are specific to certain areas. So in this one, you've got a whole load of these American hops, which gives these really fruity flavours.
Yeah.
They're not subtle, you just very sort of in your face.
It's nice.
Which one's that? This one?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's this West Coast Pale Ale. So it's made in this style that even got pictures of the San Francisco Golden Gate Bridge to give you the idea.
It is
So,
good.
so it's sort of,
It's nice,
you
isn't
get
it?
bitterness from the
Yeah,
hops.
it is
Hops
quite-
give a
it is
bitter flavour, but they have this freshness, they have this sort of citrusy fruit.
It's quite fruity.
It is, isn't it? And that's purely
Yeah.
coming from these hops. These sort of they're called Centennial and Mosaic and Amarillo. All these hop varieties, which I've been getting into over the last couple of years, and there's as much variety in hop varieties as there is in grape varieties.
So, is there? Are you finding more people are making their own brews as well now? Is that getting a bit trendy again? Because I remember as a kid, my dad used to make home brew. I have no idea whether it was
make it.
Did it?
It was amazing. I remember having to suck it into the pipe.
Yeah, all the demijohns, is it they call them, and all that kind of.
Demijohns.
Yeah.
Well, that's a very nice segue, a broadcasting term, into our next beer, which is in fact the sort of now semi-commercial result from a mate of mine in
Friends
Cambridge,
Pale Ale.
starting to brew commercially.
It's very simple labelling. Black and white. Like
yeah,
it.
no, we'll come on to that
Yeah.
one, but it's but yeah, no, and this whole craft beer scene. I mean, there's a lot of it. It causes quite a lot of debate amongst the sort of beer aficionados about, well, it's not real cask ale because it's not, cask conditioned.
Yeah.
It's almost always carbonated like this, fizzy, served cold out of the fridge.
Yeah.
But we're spoiled. We've got so many different styles of great beer. Whether you like your crisp, fresh lager styles, whether you like the deep, dark porters and stouts, and
Do you not think though this country? I mean, 25, 30 years ago, it was a bit of an embarrassment in the food and drink world. I think we're leading the way in some respects. It's one of the most exciting countries to cook in and eat in
So many
ever.
different-
boozing.
And yeah, I mean, the drinks, food, the whole thing is just absolutely bouncing. Doesn't matter where you go in this country, you will find some great
Something
pockets
new,
of food.
something
Yeah,
exciting,
totally.
yeah,
We're,
yeah.
we're great at embracing all different cultures. We make it our own, and it's now just sort of redefining British food completely.
Yeah.
I remember when I first started cooking at 16, and we got the first balsamic vinegar come in, and I didn't know what it was, and we got the first sun-dried tomato I'd ever seen. It was like, what's this?
What's that? It's
Oh,
rotten.
yeah. It's like
It's gone
all
off.
dried out, manky, what's wrong with it? And now, the whole food world is just incredible. I mean, I started cooking because I didn't really do very well at school and I didn't know what else to do. Now it's like a really cool job to have.
I started drinking, but I know.
Right, so I'll put the chicken in, and
Yeah.
I finished it off with a little bit of fenugreek, which I said earlier is
Yeah,
the key
yeah, yeah.
spice in this. I'm just going to add a little touch of cream just for that little bit of decadence.
Nice.
For this, but there is your chicken tikka masala.
It smells almost slightly tobacco-y.
It
It's,
does.
Do you know what I mean?
it's absolutely
Does.
what you
You
said.
probably
It's
could-
that next morning.
It is. That's
It
exactly
absolutely
what it
It's a bit
is,
like
yeah.
grandpa's sort of whole
Yeah, maybe.
you know,
is.
sort of-
Right. So there's the chicken tikka masala. Do you want to have a little
Okay.
taste of that?
Yeah.
Please.
Here you go.
Let's try it with my mate John's beer at the same
Yeah.
time.
Oh, it's a lot darker, this one.
Yeah. So that means that they will have had sort of darker, more heavily roasted malts
Yeah.
in the, the malted barley to start with. So this is John and his mate Tim.
Yeah.
They're brewing in Tim's garage.
Oh, look at that.
That's amazing.
A little bit of coriander just to finish that off.
So you can taste that it's a bit rounder and a bit fuller. You can see
It
that
is.
because it's darker. So that's slightly
A lot more
malty.
to it, isn't there?
Yeah, maltier, a bit more that that sort of amber flavours rather
Yeah.
than the previous two. Super fresh, super crisp. This is just
This is a bit more of an older man's beer.
slightly.
This is young, hip, and hipster. Yeah, this is skinny jeans, brogues, and a shirt like this. And this is
old farts beer.
this is getting towards my dad.
There you go. There you go, John. Old
Yeah.
farts pale ale.
No, I think it would appeal to somebody who's looking for more flavour in
Yeah,
a beer.
it's a nice little
These
crossover.
you would just loving these, loving these. Really, these are kind of right. 6 o'clock, home from work. Let's have a drink while we sort of debrief the day, if you like.
Yeah.
And then maybe when we have dinner, it might
And
be
another
fun.
one.
Yeah, totally. I am. Can we get these online?
You can get those from my website.
Absolutely.
wearethirsty.co.uk.
I am ordering
Nice
those
little
because
plug
they
there.
are
Blatant plugging.
Christmas. Daddy would love some of these for Christmas, Poppy. Just putting it out there.
She may not be able to buy them from me.
I was
No.
going to say.
Would
Well,
have
if she can
VAT.
get a credit card.
So yeah, and this whole beer thing, this craft beer thing, you don't have to be a hipster with a tattoo and a top knot.
No, good.
Do you
to
know what?
enjoy
There's,
these beers.
There's loads of beer courses out there at the moment as well, isn't there? Making your own beer from hops and all sorts
Yeah.
going on. There's
I mean,
loads of places. In
I did my
London.
first brew last Monday with one of our brewers down in Cambridge, a couple of brothers, Calverley's boys, and we're brewing this thing called a glue beer. So you know glue vine,
Yeah.
Yeah,
like
yeah,
mulled
yeah.
wine, and I thought, well, let's have a glue beer, and so it's got cinnamon,
Not serving it
cloves,
warm,
and-
are you?
We might try it, but with orange peel. It's quite dark and rich and malty, and it's going to be ready in a couple of weeks' time for our big. We do these big events in Cambridge called
Right.
Thirsty Fest. You just come down if you like.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Do you get a lot of people asking about beers, which beers with food and things like that now, or not?
More and more, and I
Is it
think
becoming
people,
more trendy again now to have
well, then,
new exciting beers? You know, there's been bread beer and all sorts, hasn't there?
yeah, and there's just
Yeah.
so much variety. You
Have
know,
you tried that
it
toast
is.
beer?
Yeah, that's the one I was
That's the
thinking
one,
of.
isn't it?
Yeah. Have you tried
I
it?
think we actually sell some
Do you?
of it in the shop.
They use all the leftovers from bakeries and I think it's brilliant.
Yeah,
This,
great idea.
you need to get in because I am working my way
You're
through it.
rushing through it.
I don't fancy chances, if I'm honest.
How does it taste then? What do you think?
Beautiful. Loving it. The thigh is absolutely the right thing to have with this.
Yeah.
And it hasn't taken that long to cook, has it really?
Not
I
really.
mean, what,
That's amazing.
we've got 20 minutes left, so it's cooked in 40 minutes. Well, 30 minutes really, 'cause it
30
took 10
minutes.
minutes to get in the oven, didn't it?
So, you know, there's no reason to call out for takeaway. You can cook that at home
Do you do
yourself.
Oh, that is lovely.
Do you deliver? Deliveroo, where are you when we need you? Yeah, he's gonna.
When I'm at the
Lovely.
restaurant, we do.
Right.
But,
So, do you have a restaurant?
so I work at Tamarind and Mayfair, which is a Michelin-starred Indian restaurant. So I spend a lot of my time there as well,
Right.
As well as doing the
Yeah,
website
yeah,
and
yeah.
running my company.
And what job do you do there?
So I'm training under head chef at the moment,
Right.
and I've been doing lots of stuff with him. But
Mm.
we're opening a new restaurant in Soho, and I'll be the exec chef of the new place in Soho, which is very exciting.
Yeah.
So yeah, so
And what kind of dishes are we going to expect?
so it's
the new-
trendy, it's
Yeah.
young, it's hip, it's funky, but very much authentic style. Indian
So is it more about the flavours you're going to take of Indian food and apply to trendier foods, or?
Not really. It is still going to be authentic Indian food, but it'll be
Right.
more snacky. It'll be, you know, Indian Indians are real snackers. They love, you know, bar food, that kind of thing. Exactly. Right, so I'm just going to quickly get on and do this dal. So this is from my curry kit. And these are all about getting people in the kitchen to cook. It's not about opening a jar, heating something up and then shoveling it in. It's still about cooking. So I'm just going to heat up a little bit of oil, and I'm going to show you how easy these kits really are to cook with.
They look really nice as well, really nicely packaged.
Do you like them? So there's a range of 12, and they are all about getting in that kitchen. So each one is accompanied with a video, which is great, so you can just log on and cook with me. But they're all about the individual ingredients. So each bag has a different sachet with a number on it, and it tells you exactly what you need to do. So the dal one, I'm just going to boil the lentils in some hot water. I'm going to put a little bit of salt in there if I can find it.
Yeah, salt's here.
Somewhere. Thank you very much.
I like style, Harry. You spread out, don't you?
I'm usually really quite tidy. I'm actually a really tidy cook, so
looks like a bloke's cook, doesn't it? Doesn't it?
This is your influence.
This is like the sort of cooking you do when you do stumble back in.
My wife would walk in and go, "Oh my God!"
Right.
No, it's
It's
lovely.
because you're sat there eating.
I know. I should be clearing up.
You're helping me.
No, eating and drinking.
Okay, so bag one is all about the spices. So we've got some cumin in there, we've got a little dried chilli, and we've got some bay leaves in there. So I'm going to pop those straight in to fragrance the base oil in there whilst the lentils are cooking. So red lentils are just brown lentils that are split and have been dehusked.
Right. Okay.
And whenever you boil lentils, you'll see that they give off this sort of almost like a white
Foam.
foam. So you just need to sort of sieve that or skim that off. So I'm just going to use a little ladle, and I'm just going to take that.
And that's just from the husk?
That's just from the husk, yeah, so you just need to get rid of that. There we go.
Can I just say the crew are basically jumping in that pan when they're hoovering up that curry.
Do you know what? I might do a little...
You should absolutely. What's actually going on behind this camera, and we will spin the camera around later on, they are hoovering that curry up.
Damn it.
Yeah.
How's it taste, guys?
John Fell, who's on later, is hoovering it up. That's good
That's
to
what
see.
we like, that's what we
Yeah.
like. So I'm just going to empty the first bag into there, just get those spices sizzling. Same principle, as soon as you can smell the ingredients, as soon as you can smell those oils, you go in with your next ingredient, which is the onions.
You obviously, although the heat's really high,
Yep. So you're cooling the pan down by putting those cold onions in there. So I'm just going to... You do need to tweak your temperature as you go.
because obviously you don't want your onions to get
I don't want them to...
black.
No, I don't want them to turn black. I want them to cook through. Can I just grab another spoon, please? Fantastic. Thank you.
What about white and red wines? Do you have any particular favourites that you think go with your food?
I do like a white wine. You know, a lot of people say it depends on the meat and how deep and rich that sauce is going to be. So the Rogan Josh might be slightly different. I think it's really hard with Indian food because you never really have one dish.
No.
And you know, it's usually a selection of dishes that you're having, so it's quite difficult to
Find something that
complement.
goes with all of them.
Exactly.
I think one tip for white wines is Viognier.
Viognier.
Is a really good grape.
Okay.
It's got very strong flavours. It's got fruity flavours.
Right.
And there's the strength of flavour in the wine can cope with the strength of flavour in the Indian food. And the other one is good old Riesling. So lovely, lovely Riesling, the queen of all white grapes in my view. And you can have dry styles, you can have off-dry styles, and again they've got really pungent flavours, so that can cope with the kind of pungency of
the spices that you're pressing in and so on. What about red wine then? and Indian food? Do you
Well,
think?
I would match it with something that's spicy.
Yeah.
You know, no brainer really. Something that's like a Shiraz, a Syrah. Ideally, even something from the New World, something Australian, something American, because their wines, they often tend to have a slightly sweet ripeness. It's not sweet in terms of lots of sugar in them,
Yeah.
but a sort of a more ripe, fruity, almost sweet flavour to them. And again, I think that can work really nicely with the spice in the food. You don't want to obviously have a sticky sweet wine in there,
No.
but you know, something like a nice Aussie Shiraz, I think would go really, you know, well with a lot of.
I quite like a Sauvignon Blanc, I have to say.
A Kiwi one. So a Kiwi Sauvignon, I think, would go quite well with these things because again, it's big on flavour.
Yeah.
You went for a French Sauvignon Blanc.
Sorry.
Another
My
spoon.
tomatoes have disappeared.
Tomatoes. Tomatoes.
They're over there. I'll just go and grab them. Oh, no. Sorry.
Yeah.
Lovely.
So yeah, a French Sauvignon would be a little bit tends to be a little bit less in your face,
Right.
less strong flavours than the Kiwi ones. So yeah, Kiwi Sauvignon, that'll do me.
That'll do you. And do you like your Indian food? Are you into your spices and your...
I am. And it's interesting your comment about that some people think of it as being unhealthy, because I've sort of started eating more, not only Indian food, but more spiced food, so that I can eat less red meat.
Okay.
Because I think, you know, if you eat
You
a
don't
lot
really need meat with Indian food because, you know, and veggie dishes with Indian food just work so well.
yeah,
There is, you know, a lot of the population in India are vegetarians because it's almost like they don't need.
not much meat around.
Okay, so all I've done in here is I've put some fresh tomatoes. I'm going to cook those down. I'm going to reduce the heat a little bit. I think this has gone off. Peter,
Yes.
I think my
I was just leaving you two chatting away because you were like chatting away. What's up?
that one I need on. These two. And this one I need lower.
You want it on full whack,
That one I want.
and then you want that one down.
Yeah.
There we go. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Beautiful. What can I clear away?
Yes, please.
I'll have a tidy up of all the debris. Don't worry, you carry on. I'll tidy up.
There we go. Okay, so I've added into here onions, along with that first batch of spices, and I've just put the tomatoes in. The tomatoes I really, again, want them to break down until they make that base masala, and they cook right down. So especially with fresh tomatoes, it's really important that you do that. Right, I'm going to put a little bit of salt in there because I've also put some in with the lentils, so I don't want to overdo it. There we go.
Look at this, a man cleaning, eh? Did you get many of these in your kitchens, Harry?
They're all men, actually. I'm the
I bet
only
you get them
woman-
all.
I'm the only woman in the kitchen.
And do you find that is quite common?
Oh no.
No?
No, I just my lentils.
Oh.
Yeah, it's very common. There's very few female chefs in the chefing world, I think.
Do you mean in
unless-
Indian kitchens or do you
well,
mean in
I was
general?
going to say more specifically in Indian kitchens,
Yeah.
but in general terms, it's not really an industry that many women tend to go into, which is a shame,
Why
really,
is that?
because I think there's lots of reasons. I think
Is it perceived as, is it seen as a man's job in India to cook in restaurants and not?
in restaurants,
Generally,
it is.
yeah.
It's because
But then at home,
women do
it's the women
it
that
at
cook,
home.
isn't it?
So why would a woman want to do it at home and then have to go out and do it at work as well?
Well, I do sometimes. Let me just clean that away.
Thank you.
But I guess
Real.
it's the same in the UK as well, isn't it? That the kind of the chefing world is dominated by.
Well,
by
I think
chaps.
that there's a lot of men that climb to the top
Yeah.
because, and I might be wrong, and I'm sure somebody on social media will come on me like a ton of bricks in a minute, but I think women tend to, obviously, will go off and have children, and obviously that's when careers can either take a back burner and things like that, but like, kitchens are very militant environments, and I think that's probably why I settled into kitchens really easily, because my dad was in the army as a sergeant major. I went to Cubs, I went to Scouts, you know, it was all that kind of structured.
Regimented.
Yeah, very regimented.
Higher up.
So into a kitchen, it made sense to me. It was quite normal that one guy was in charge, and you listen to
you.
him, and he shouted at me if I didn't do as I was told.
And whack you with his
Quite
frying
simple.
pan.
And that's probably why that kind of environment worked for me. But
It's
I
quite
don't know.
macho, isn't it? It's quite. Is it still like that, or is that?
I
is
think
that
it,
just?
I mean,
I don't know. What's your thoughts?
I'm very lucky. I think the kitchen that I work in is fantastic, and everyone helps each other, and
Well, it's always a team game, isn't
it's
it?
a real
Always.
team effort.
Game
But
of two
I,
hearts as well.
I have heard some
Right.
awful horror stories from other women in the kitchen
Yeah.
about their experiences of being in that chefing environment, and it's some of the things that happen in the kitchen are hideous, and I think
It's not as bad as it was.
it's
I think
not as
a
bad as it
lot's
was. They've
changed.
still got a long way to
Yeah.
go, and
Yeah.
also, with helping people, especially women, come back into that world after
Yeah.
they have had a family. I think there's a lot of work to be done in that sort of space because
It's tricky to get the balance.
it's very hard.
Do you know what? I think it's tricky to get the balance full stop no matter what you do.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm very lucky. My wife's a primary school teacher, so actually it's pretty easy for us in comparison to a lot of others. But it's still hard, to get that balance right, and make sure that you go to bed at night thinking, do you know what? I've given my kids everything today. Do you know what I mean? Enough attention, and all that sort of stuff.
Giving them some nice beer, or giving them some nice wine.
Yeah.
So these are lentils. The only
Oh,
way you're going to
okay.
know when lentils are cooked is you just give them a little squeeze and they just break down in your fingers. You give them a
Okay.
little
Yeah.
squeeze. You do have to
Yeah.
be careful with some lentils because if you don't cook them properly, they can make you very, very poorly
All right.
because they contain a toxin in them.
How long do they take to cook?
So these lentils are probably the quickest, so these
Yeah.
take about 15 minutes to cook.
Right.
Other lentils, depending on, if they're a whole lentil, they've got the husk on, will
Yeah.
take much longer. So just be aware that when you cook lentils, you do it properly. So here we've got the masala.
Oh, I didn't.
So
Right.
it looks like quite a dry masala.
Yeah. Just show the camera
Quite
there.
a dry
Hang on.
dal masala.
It has got a darker, denser
Yeah, it has.
aroma as well, hasn't it, than the first one, than
You
the
seen that?
ticker.
Or is it all a bit steamy? Into that, I'm going to put the cooked lentils straight in. Now, some people wouldn't want to put all of that liquid in. I tend to put it in and then I'll let it bubble away so that
So it burns up a bit.
it burns off a little bit. But I like my lentils to be fairly soupy. I'm just going to stir that in and bring that back up to the boil. How are we doing for time? Are we...
5 minutes.
Talking of girl power, just now, tomorrow I am going to. I've got German brewing girl power arriving tomorrow in Manchester. This is one of our new brewers that we're importing directly from Germany. One of these new kind of craft brewers from Hamburg. Natalie, she's the brewer, and we're going to go and take her around some of the beer shops and bars in Manchester to show them.
Wow, that's
beer.
going to be a culture shock.
Well, she studied in Manchester.
Oh, right,
actually,
okay, so
so
she
she
knows what
knows
she's
that she
doing.
knows the
Yeah,
area.
yeah.
But that's, she's awesome. She's sort of, she's in this world, brewing. You couldn't get more kind of traditionally macho or
Macho,
male dominated
yeah,
than the world of brewing.
Very true.
And she's just, out there giving it
Giving it large.
large.
Good for her.
Good on her. Great beer as well. Von Freude.
Sounds very masculine.
Of joy. It means.
Thigh slapping.
Get your lederhosen.
Yeah, a bit of thigh slapping, yeah.
Okay, so the dal, there you go. I'm going to let that simmer away
Okay.
a little bit, just to thicken up a little bit and
Yeah.
get all of those flavours running through it. But that essentially is your dal. And then
Lovely.
we always finish off with a little bit of garam masala. So I'm going to put that in.
And it's important to put that in at the end.
At the end, so the way that I use garam masala is once your dish is finished, once it's complete, you add your garam masala in.
Yeah.
And what that does is it brings that whole dish together. It adds those last few
Right.
sort of spices that are just going to make it into that really special dish. So I'm just going to let that simmer through.
Is that just so that you kind of got the freshness, sort of fresher, less
It's-
flavour?
It's more than just a garnish. It's more about as you sort of carry your dish to the table, you get all these beautiful aromatics coming off it. It just invites people to come in.
Well, it makes sense because I would put herbs in at the end. We did the pizza earlier. Basil went on at the end. It's
you don't need to
that
cook spices.
touch at the end.
They're brown, so as soon as they hit that heat, they're going to release their natural aromatics,
Yeah.
and that's what you're using those spices for. It's just about heightening the sense of smell.
Yeah.
So that's
It's quite an interesting approach to spices, actually. It's kind of making me want to play a bit more and spend a bit more
Explore a little
time.
bit.
Yeah.
Tell you what, I'll do your cooking class.
All right, deal. Cool. I'll attend. I'll come down to Mayfair for dinner. I think.
Come down via Cambridge on the way, and we'll do you a
Yeah, well,
brewery session.
I've already been chatting to John Fell about, and we're already like, he's probably already looking at how many. Yeah, look, he's on his phone. He's probably ordering it now.
He's already off
as
to
we
Norwich
speak.
as we speak.
Yeah. Done. Job done.
Come down to Thirsty in Cambridge in December, and we've got a big party happening every Friday, Saturday night. Thirsty Fest, and Breadwell beers will be there
Amazing.
throughout.
Okay, so I'm just going to add that
Road
masala in there. Stir that
no,
in.
it's lovely.
And
I
then
love it when you find these little gems as well, and beautiful food to go with it. It's great.
that.
Lovely.
Love coriander.
I had a couple of recipes to cook, but I haven't had to cook them. It's great because I've just been watching Harry cook away and tasting
Drinking beer.
You've been playing with my beer. It's great.
That's what Friday night's about, isn't it? Right, do you want to have a little taste?
Well,
I'm
put
running
my
out
feet
of
up when the
tasting
kids have gone to bed and watching some telly, but that's about it.
So that's a basic red lentil dal. You know, no Indian meal is complete without some form of a lentil dal that goes with it.
Right.
So hot.
Mm.
What do you think?
Lovely. Mm.
And you can almost taste the garam masala that you put in at the end.
Right at the very end.
You can
It
sort
does
of
make
taste-
a real difference to the flavours that you get in there, but it's
Mm.
got, and you know, you cook with Indian food, you cook it to your taste, but
Yeah,
your,
of course.
your palate. It's not that a korma has to be mild. It's not that
Yeah,
a vindaloo has to be hot.
Yeah.
You cook to whatever suits your palate.
absolutely, and I think that's the right way to cook.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Just love
So
it.
I don't know if I've got time to do my rice.
I don't think so.
I don't think we have.
I think we'll have to get you back. Back up that road. Come and visit. Thank you very much, Harry.
Absolute pleasure. Thank
It's
you
been
very
an
much.
absolute pleasure to chat to you and meet you,
Thank you
and
very
it's been
much.
an absolute pleasure to taste your food. And I could strongly recommend these wonderful packs.
They're
Where
all-
where can people get these from?
So they're all available on the website,
Right.
www.harrygotcha.co.uk, as well as my spice tins. So that's
All right.
my little spice tin here that you can, yes, and it's got all the 7 spices in there. It's got all the cubic.
Great Christmas present.
And on the app as well, yeah, you can get them all there.
So you can, so we can come and find you on the app in the Foodie
Yes.
Friends section. So you can just click through on the app, straight through in the Foodie Friends section. You'll find Harry, her website, and if you want to buy these, you'll be able to. Have you got these listed anywhere else, or have you got the food marketing expert onto that?
Wow, yeah, we're always talking to people, always
Yeah.
negotiating.
Good stuff.
But yeah, at the moment
Brilliant.
they're available on the website, and yeah,
Yeah.
they're
Fab.
doing really well.
Brilliant. Oh, I'm really pleased, and I can't wait to come down to London. I'm waiting for my invite to Mayfair.
Excellent.
I don't think I've ever been to Mayfair.
I'll bring some wines. We'll have a wine tasting
Nice,
and a
I
beer
like that.
tasting,
Yeah.
cooking lesson.
Brilliant.
Fantastic.
Right, we're going to get
Thank
kitchen
you.
cleared down, and then we've got our next guest on. Okay, so bear with us. We're getting quite quick at this turnaround time to cleaning, and then we will be cooking again very soon.